Right, well, good morning. It's 9 o'clock in London. It's 12 o'clock in Finland. Good morning. My name is Andy Fairbairn from the Nordic Tourism Collective, and together with my colleague Paul Wagner and my colleagues behind the scenes at Atar, welcome to this rather special webinar where we're going to look at TikTok. So TikTok is a global phenomenon, let's face it, 1 billion active monthly users, so I understand. But it's now more than just a means to taking pictures of your dancing granny. It's actually now a significant channel and a significant decision maker where consumers are making decisions about their holidays. So it's a force to be reckoned with, and it's becoming a significant advertising medium now. So we're going to take a look at TikTok and really try and understand what it's about, really sort of what the opportunities are, and we're going to look at really, is it something we should be getting to grips with? Is it something we should be scared of? That's a question that has come up a couple of times in people we've spoken to. We're joined today by a couple of very special people who are going to help us guide us through this. Paul, who have we got with us today?
Well, we're delighted to have with us today Bhanu Sharma, who's the Global Business Solutions at TikTok. Good morning, Bhanu. And Sophia Pashchenko, who's Customer Success Manager at Shuk Digital in Finland. Good morning, Sophia. So fantastic panelists today. So we will be recording this webinar, and we'd like to invite questions because I think we have a very curious audience today. And please put the questions on our Q&A, and we'll try and get it to our expert panelists a little bit later on. But now I would like maybe Sophia and Bhanu just to introduce themselves. Bhanu first, just to introduce yourself and say hello to the audience.
For sure. No, thank you so much, Paul and Andy. And good morning, everybody from here, London. Not very sunny yet, but I hope we get there very soon. Spring should spring around as soon as it's possible. First of all, thank you, everybody who's attending live. I think it's going to be a very fun session. I'm really excited and thrilled to be here, not just on behalf of TikTok, but just on behalf of the entire team on your screens here. We've been speaking about this opportunity for a few weeks, and I feel it's the right time with summer and spring around us to give a little bit of a kick in everyone's travel bugs in their minds. And who better than all of us here to start getting people some inspiration for the travels that they can book in the remaining part of 2023. Before we dive into today's presentation, I'm also very thankful and happy to have Sophia with me, who is a very strong partner for us at TikTok here with Jesse and Shuk. Jesse unfortunately could not be here. Shuk, I will let Sophia explain the details in just a little bit of moments, but I think with TikTok, the one thing that really cannot be missed together is videos. TikTok has become almost synonymous with short form video as a platform. And Sophia and her team go a long way in helping us achieve that objective with our advertisers. Sophia, if you want to go ahead.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction, and good morning, everyone. I'm Sophia. I look after our clients at Shuk, coming from paid social and creative consultation background. Who is Shuk and what we do? We are a badged TikTok creative partner specialized in the video production. We are on a mission to help advertisers to make the most out of the short video production and focus specifically on paid and user-generated content, or commonly known as UGC. So we help clients to scale the volume of the produced videos in a very efficient manner. So helping to bring the costs down and then help the advertisers to iterate on the best performing creatives. Today, we'll be partnering with Bhanu to answer all of your questions from the creative and performance perspective. Over to you.
Thanks, Sophia, and we'll be sharing the details of our great panelists after the webinar as we do the follow-up and the recording to everybody. Okay, Bhanu, if you could start lining up your presentation. Bhanu's going to give us a detailed presentation for those that know a little bit less about TikTok and for those that know a little bit more. Over to you, Bhanu.
Thank you so much. And then once again, whether everybody on the call today is joining from your offices or home or anywhere in between, I'm really happy to welcome you all and excited to share some valuable insights and actionable strategies, hopefully, that will help you unlock travel marketing on TikTok. Sit back today, get ready to dive into the world of travel talk, as we call it. It's going to be a really informative but fun conversation. Feel free to keep your questions ready. I'm pretty sure Paul and Andy will help us, just figure out which questions have the most popularity in this group. But if there is anything, even after this session as an afterthought that you would like to connect about, please use this opportunity to reach out to us and let's get things going. At the very beginning, of course, I would like to introduce myself. Before I start, is my screen visible to everybody? All okay? Okay, fabulous. That little person in the middle there, not little anymore, but that's me dancing, trying to bring out my TikTok shoes on, and just really have fun. And that's why travel is such a big part of what we do, which is the reason why we are all united for today's discussion. For today's presentations, for today's webinar, I think we've broken down the agenda into three main chunks. The very first section, which I'll start with now, will cover the TikTok opportunity. I'm assuming most people here have heard the word TikTok, but there might be various levels of understanding about the platform and the communities that are present on TikTok. So I'll just try my level best to make sure everybody's on the same page in terms of understanding what the platform is all about. How can platform be utilized for its uniqueness for the audiences that thrive on it day in, day out? And most importantly, how could you make TikTok a key part of your marketing strategies in the year going forward and for the future? Because I'm confident now, after being here for 3 years, that TikTok is here to stay, despite all the chatter, all the noise around the platform at any given time. I really feel that now, with over 1.5 billion active users every month, we've become a force to reckon with. We have a say on the table at the moment, as long as it comes to digital marketing. And we really want to help advertisers and brands like all of you who are attending make the most out of this opportunity on TikTok. And so before we take off, I think it's a very simple question that I want to use to introduce the platform. And that's, do you think of TikTok as a social media app, as a messaging app on your phone, or is it more of an entertainment application? Is the purpose of the platform to serve you entertainment, or is it more for you to be socially connected with your friends? Think about that. Take a minute. Because in my experience of being here and working with so many clients across so many brands and verticals, the one thing I've realized is marketeers have started putting TikTok in the same bucket as YouTube and Netflix and not Instagram or Snapchat, which just goes to show how different a platform TikTok has become over the last few years. And everyone just assumes that TikTok is the dancing thing. TikTok.
You don't do the dances and stuff.
No, but this is what I've learned about TikTok. Everyone assumes TikTok is dancing, but it's not. It's not. TikTok is whatever your interest is. So if my interest is cooking, there's cooking TikToks. There's a bloke that cleans pools that has like 3 million followers. Like TikTok is just, you find an interest and it's there for you. And that's what I like about it. Because I think before I knew about TikTok, I was just like, oh, it's the dancing thing. It's like, I don't think I see any dancing on my TikTok ever.
I see a lot of dancing.
That's because you watch a lot of dancing. Yeah. Just start watching like cat videos.
And I hope the audio on that one was clear, but that was Ed Sheeran, basically just, and I hope we all know Ed Sheeran is. He's one of those guys who can sing, apparently, better than me in the toilet. But jokes apart, Ed Sheeran is one of the biggest brand ambassadors for us, super active on the platform, loves engaging with the communities, and you heard it straight from him. There is something on TikTok for everybody, whether you are a grand with many grandchildren, or you're just, upcoming budding entrepreneur who wants to make sure his business and his ideas are heard by everybody. There's something on TikTok for everyone. But before we start, I think it's super necessary to talk about the people on this webinar today and just make sure that we are addressing a few important things. For a lot of us, TikTok might be that buzzword that we keep being thrown at in terms of, are you marketing on TikTok? Have you heard of TikTok's marketing capabilities? Because a lot of us, what we do in our day-to-day jobs is to attract people and consumers to our websites or to our portals or to our travel brands to then encourage further business with these prospects. And no doubt, social media plays a big role in enabling those goals, in making sure that we can reach out to our prospects with a lot of ease. And to do that, I think traditionally we've all been used to working with the platforms on my screen at the moment, whether it's the Instagrams of the world, whether it's Snapchat, which is a more recent addition, or even Twitter for that matter, which, a lot of people can't just seem to stop refreshing and scrolling through their feeds. But if I were to summarize, it turns out that all these platforms are either congregations of passion points, where Instagram is largely believed to be a place where brands can come and discuss with passionate people. Twitter has almost become like a communication portal. It's more of a conversation between brands and people, or between people about brands. Whereas Snapchat could be tagged more as, expression of self-interest. It could be a one-to-one conversation you're having with your best friend, and you want to use more video-led platform to just come out and express yourself, which is what Snapchat has definitely enabled. But if you look at it in summary, almost each and every platform that you're used to working with is a map of either connections, or it's a map of passions, it's a map of conversations. And the brands in today's day and world are trying to fit themselves on these platforms by making sure that they adapt to the platform's needs, and they speak the same language that their prospects and their consumers are using those platforms for. TikTok's a little different, however. TikTok's really not a map of any single connection or conversation. TikTok is all about cultural pulse. So if today there is a lot of chatter about sustainability and making sure that there is a community on TikTok that is focused on how sustainable their travel is going to be, that's not going to be a dying trend. That's not going to be a conversation just with text like on Twitter, or that's not going to be a list of stories or list of facts that you might see on Instagram stories or reels. On TikTok, brands and communities will come together to participate and actually drive that sentiment a lot further than you've ever seen before on any other platform, which is why the first thing we tell our clients and we tell people that we are keen to work with is that you have to understand the platform. You have to understand the power of TikTok, which is what I want to take a few minutes to cover in this next few slides, is that it's super important for everybody to understand what TikTok brings to the table. And in my opinion, TikTok is probably a very good combination of enabling people to discover what they're passionate about, enable people to talk to their friends and communities about their passion points. But at the same time, it invites an engaging community to also participate in these conversations. There is a strong element of people expressing themselves, their opinions about these conversations that are taking place on TikTok, which is why I feel there is a new era of culture in our media at the moment, and that era is totally being championed by short form videos. If you remember, at one point when e-commerce became a thing in the early 2000s, some of you here might recall, reviews were regarded to be the next big thing. People were like, oh, the entire reviewing system on Amazon is evolving the way consumers are making their choices. Fast forward a few years, we had Google search, and suddenly Google search was able to not just highlight businesses, but also highlight reviews to create that extra impact in the minds of users and say, well, I know you're searching for booking tickets to Greece, but here are probably hotels you might want to look at while you are doing your research. And that was a big step in the way people researched and how travel marketing was brought to life. Forward a few more years, and then we had social media platforms where, of course, due to survival of the fittest, we were left behind with, say, the Facebooks and the Twitters of the world, where the level of engagement between brands and consumers went another level, went another further level, where people could now comment or like and dislike basically activities from their brands and favorite creators. Now that entire concept has evolved and it's become a lot more expressive, a lot more communication oriented. And TikTok is spearheading that charge in terms of inviting communities to engage with these brands. A more video-led reviewing system has now has emerged, where people are easily able to express their, likeliness or dislikeliness about certain brands. Their opinions are a lot more shared, which is why I think it's so easy for me to say, but it's harder for brands to realize that TikTok is not a primarily social application. It's actually an entertainment platform. And the sooner you start perceiving it as an entertainment platform where culture is coming together, communities are coming together to engage with the buzzwords of the moment, with the trends that are ongoing, we will realize that TikTok's almost like a television, which you just open up, you scroll through for endless number of hours, and data suggests that's exactly what's happening. And it's not the opposite of what you imagine of video-led Facebook or a video-led Instagram to be, because those platforms, the primary reason people log on to them is for their social connections, is to meet other people that they know of in their network. Whereas on TikTok, I hardly find myself searching for my friends. I hardly find myself reaching out for my loved ones, because that's not what I go to TikTok for. I go to TikTok to just be entertained, come out happy, and enjoy us. Before we start, is there anybody in the audience who has an experience or a story you want to share about TikTok? About probably if you agree with me in terms of, do you look at TikTok more as an entertainment platform or as probably a social media platform? Feel free to drop in your questions or suggestions for us to read, and we'll make sure that we are understanding how you use TikTok and utilize TikTok in your day-to-day life. But moving on from that, I think TikTok's definitely taken the digital industry by storm. There's hardly been a phase in the last 3-4 years when TikTok has not been in the news, sometimes for the best reasons, sometimes, of course, for reasons outside of our control. But having said that, I think as a result, what's happened is that over the last 3 or 4 years, the world has definitely seen the emergence of a leader in terms of driving short-form mobile video consumption. Many brands have tried this. Many brands are still trying to fix and tune and make sure that their product offering is as good as TikTok's. But in this age of context where people are using powers of social media, search knowledges and search engines, and just a lot of contextual behavior around them at all times, TikTok is bringing together a sense of calm. TikTok is bringing together a sense of creativity and expression, which is unparalleled and never seen before, which is why a lot of people honestly feel that they are a lot more encouraged to be expressive on platforms like TikTok in comparison to many others that we have and we use in our day-to-day life. And this is exactly why I'm so bullish and I'm confident that TikTok is here to stay. Stats like these definitely make it feel like TikTok's not just for the teenagers or for the college students. It's definitely here for everybody in our society to engage with, to utilize, and to make use of. 25 plus age users comprise almost 2/3 of our audience, which just goes to show the maturity and the spending power of our audiences on the platform. And at the same time, these numbers are the usage numbers that you see on the right-hand side over here are from the United Kingdom from January. And they just go to show how strongly penetrative TikTok can be. People are opening the app 20 times a day at an average, spending more than 90 minutes, exactly 103 minutes to be precise in the UK. And these people are spread over both males and females. We have a 57 to 43% demographic split between females as to males. And of course, you can see the age brackets and the splits across each of these age buckets, just to give you an indication of where the audiences are coming from and how it's evolving. The biggest takeaway from me on this slide is the fact that 25 plus as a bucket is only growing, and our 18 to 24 segment is shrinking, which just goes to show that people who were earlier either younger continue to use TikTok as they keep aging, and the platform is continuously able to add more exciting users who are aged 25 or above to its monthly list of active users. Now, why am I sharing all these numbers and stats with you is because I believe most people on this call today are anyway working with a marketing budget or are figuring out ways to maximize the efficiencies of their investments across digital media channels and maybe even offline channels. It could be TV, it could be radio, it could be other out-of-home advertising avenues. And how I would like to sort of present TikTok in this entire scenario is that TikTok can have a very strong effect on priming your other media investments. Data shows that when TikTok ads run parallel with your TV commercial ads, there is a much better impact on the audience's ability to recall your brand. When TikTok runs in collaboration with a streaming channel or your other social media investments like Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat, there is a higher probability for users to remember your brand, and even, in fact, even recollect the creators that are working with you on these other channels. And in fact, one study recently revealed that users are less likely to skip an ad on YouTube if they've already seen that brand's association with a particular creator on TikTok in their time spent on the app. All these stats just go to show that we are not here to snatch a portion of your marketing budget from your other channels. If things are running really well on your other channels, there is a strong opportunity here for you to use TikTok to find that incrementality in your results. And if not, then we welcome you with open hands to basically try our audience segments, to try our communities, and see what's in it for you to explore and discover about your own brands. The next section, I really just want to give you a very quick overview of the travel category on TikTok. I feel like travel as an entire category has come a long way in what we do and how we do. And TikTok's definitely leading the charge on that front. Travel on TikTok is such a huge part of of everyday discussion that it's impossible to make TikTok fun and enjoyable without having travel content inside of it. But honestly, what I feel is happening is that people have started using their travels as a getaway to find the best use of their time, and then just use TikTok to express how much fun they were having. And over time, brands are utilizing this fact to just show people the best deals on flights, on accommodations, the best places to visit. And in this next section, we'll exactly discover how travel brands and travel communities are coming together to put together this excellent content. First things first, TikTok users are obsessed with travel. And there is no reason I see for travel brands not to be equally obsessed. It's this obsession that is driving almost 2x growth on the platform when it comes to video views, which are travel content related. We have a staggering 150 billion video views for travel content in last year alone. That number is just mad. It's almost 2 videos per person on this world every few days. There are 8 billion people in this world, and 160 billion TikTok video views for travel content just goes to show the vast majority of content on travel is so diverse. It's so real in the way it's expressed. It's not a function of a few brands coming together and making a community around travel. It's actually a community of travel enthusiasts who are continuously sharing tips and tricks, so their experiences, and inviting other people, other wanderlust fans to explore the world together with them. And that can be seen in the way that, that travel content on TikTok is evolving. I'll try and play a few videos just to show and give a flavor of the kind of communities getting formed around travel content.
Wait for it.
Thanks to Booking.com, I was able to book my favorite hotel room with the poll on short notice so I could come back and try to beat my record again. So let's give it a go. Also, if you go to Booking.com's TikTok page right now, you could win a vacation to the destination of your choosing. The rules for the giveaway are on their page. Go check it out.
No, seriously, what is this place?
This is heaven.
And like we just saw, I mean, these were just free 10-second glimpses, but whether it's finding out easy ways to find cheap flights or find hacks for deals. And that video was running for so long, by the way. I didn't play it, but that's the exact reason why TikTok is so much fun, because people are sharing their experiences and the way they plan travel with the community. And that's leading to billions and millions of videos every single day, making sure that brands have a way to participate in this entire landscape. So whether it's booking holidays for relaxing or for an activity or adventure that you've been looking forward to, whether you are a student or you are somebody who wants to plan a budget holiday for a longer duration, or you want to go on a premium luxury holiday, these are the type of holidays TikTok users usually go on, and these are almost certainly the types of holidays most of your brands want users to go on. There is so much content emerging on TikTok around these passion points of travel that it's never too late, it's never too soon for you to start participating. The right time is now. The encouragement through a webinar like this is to give you that inspiration that you need to think about your travel brand and the users you're behind, the business goals you're chasing, and find a way to marry all those business objectives with TikTok's passion points very creatively through a language of expression, through a language of joy, but at the same time, through a language of invitation, where you are almost creating that fear of missing out and exciting people to look forward to their travels with all the options that your brands or your clients have. And travel is not going anywhere. I think after the pandemic, we've all realized how important a role travel plays in our day-to-day lives. The reemergence of travel has brought with itself some themes, some basic habits that we are noticing and observing in the minds of our users, whether it's more around sustainability, whether people are moving away from hotels and opting more for short-term rental stays, whether it's the emergence of a parallel industry in terms of accommodation, or just, people saved up enough money during the pandemic that they are now confident and they're looking for more premium options. I think whatever the story is, it doesn't take away from the fact that travel content of TikTok will continue to skyrocket in 2023 as well. And these could be very important levers that factor and account for our growth. And this growth, we potentially for us, we see it coming from a wide range of audience travel interests. So whether it's the luxury traveler, or whether it's the budget seeker or the adventure seeker with a budget, whether it's people who are traveling on, with big groups in families, with families of friends, or people looking for solo travel or business travel. No matter where in the spectrum you fit, what kind of budget you have, there is something on TikTok for you to utilize in terms of your marketing efficiencies, which is why TikTok is making people book it. This is data that basically makes us believe that no matter what stage of your business you're trying to impact, right from creating awareness to interest and consideration, or just lead to lower level conversions, there is something on TikTok for you to try and find these results with a lot of ease. And the reason I'm confident in saying that is because, if, like you can see, there are so many destinations that we can help people discover, we can help people explore. So whether the narrative is going to be more around exploring new cities or discovering places that are generally seen in films and movies, whether it's reconnecting with nature, how can you give your users a reason to connect with your brand by showing them probably the best places they can eat at in their next travel, or the easy ways to find cheap flights or cheap accommodation, or some super hosts, hidden gems in your cities. Nobody knows your brands and your cities and your value propositions better than yourselves as brands. So how do you take the simplest, lowest hanging fruits and TikTokify them to then show it to your audiences can go a long way in making yourself feel like a part of the TikTok travel community rather than a brand advertising for just ads, basically. And just building on that point, whether you can also use reasons why people travel to be a big part of your TikTok travel content. Some people travel for celebrating key moments of their life, birthdays, anniversaries, births. People travel because it's summer or winter time, if depending on their choices. People like to ski during the winter. People like to go to the beach during the summer. Some people use off-peak travel planning to keep their budgets in check. There's a wide variety of reasons that motivates people to travel. And how could you tap into all these motivations and make sure that you're appearing to be a part of their decision-making cycle can go a long way in presenting your brands in the right community at the right time, at the right place. And I think a lot of this boils down to the fact that many elements and many stakeholders have to come together to make any single person's travel fun. right from the flights they book to the taxis they use to the hotels they stay in and to all the places and the people and the exciting adventure they perform during their travel. I think there's room for all these travel stakeholders to come together, learn from each other, create an opportunity where you can tap into these audiences with the right mindset, encourage them to know more about your brand and spend with your brand. And to achieve all of this, the easiest way for me to basically give a starting point to most people on this call today would be to think about your organic strategy. So how would you want to place yourself on TikTok? How would your profile want to be? Would you want to be like a Ryanair, which is more humorous, a lot more involved in the day-to-day trends on TikTok? Or would you like to be a British Airways or maybe an Emirates or a Marriott, which is more about building communities with their prospects around TikTok? What I can definitely promise and support you with from our side and from our team side is that if you have a paid media strategy, if you have investments to make on the platform to maximize your budgets, we can then supercharge your organic strategy, sit down with you to understand how we can collaborate to deliver large campaigns, to build followers for your brand, to build a more testing and learning algorithm, which is a continuous process to improve your investments, to improve your brand's presence on the platform, which is why I think having Shuk on the call today is super helpful, because we are partnering with them continuously over the last 6 months or so to unlock travel across many brands in Europe, provide them with excellent services in terms of their creative needs, or just understanding where performance can be driven and amplified moving forward. The big reason why I also advocate thinking about paid and organic strategies together is because when they are put together, the results of an always engaged brand are much, much better than just staying live as organic or just spending paid media marketing budgets on the platform. It's much easier for paid media to help you shine when you are priming with your organic. And the organic content makes your paid media content more recognizable and more loved by people who are using the application. Which is why I really want to take this opportunity and define the fact that there are 3 simple content pillars of travel. As long as you are able to drive a sense of inspiration amongst your audiences, at the same time giving them some key information, adding some value to what they already know about or enhance their experiences while keeping it entertaining, I think is the easiest and the simplest formula that I believe can go a long way in helping you find success on TikTok. And whether your objectives today are to drive more traffic on your pages, whether it's to generate some leads and start nurturing them through your own lead nurturing models, or whether it's to go down the full Monty and make sure you're converting people, you're closing deals, and ensuring that you're driving business through these investments on TikTok. No matter where or what stage of the marketing funnel your objectives sit today, I'm sure there is something we can definitely figure out and work for you on TikTok as a platform, because we are evolving ever so fast. As a technical platform, that we have almost come to leveling terms with the Googles and the Facebooks of the world, whether it comes to our targeting capabilities or discovering audiences that resonate with your interests and behaviors for your brands. There is definitely a way for us to sit down and figure out the best strategy going forward to unlock more efficiencies, more business opportunities for you as a brand through your TikTok marketing in the travel industry. Simple things, how can I get started is going to be one of the most, simplest, but the most frequent questions I get asked. And I think there's no easy way to answer this other than, get your hands dirty. So start using TikTok, start, forming teams that are responsible and are passionate about TikTok within your organization. If that's not possible, if there is a budget constraint, if there's a resource constraint, there is an entire ecosystem of TikTok partners, of TikTok experts that we can unlock for you. You don't necessarily have to worry about finding that that smiling person in your office who knows about TikTok first. I think it all begins with a small desire, and once the desire is there, we will definitely sit down with you and help you determine your content approach. If there are budgets that are waiting to be utilized effectively, especially as the travel category, I don't think there can be a different platform that can help you explore your audiences better than TikTok can. So start thinking about how you want to position yourselves in the minds of your customers. And we at TikTok are really excited to welcome you with open hands and give you all the support you need to start driving efficiencies across your books of businesses. And with that, I think I want to take a pause, conscious of time. We want to keep 20-25 minutes for questions and answers, and even discuss some of the other questions that a lot of you might be very curious and excited to hear about. So thank you so much. With that, what I will do is I will pause this first section of the webinar where we wanted to introduce you about just travel marketing on TikTok, but also give you a little bit of a teaser in terms of how you can get started, what is already happening on the platform in terms of audiences and data, but also the content that they are producing. And we can now, if Andy and Paul permit, either jump straight into the questions and answers, or we can go through the other section where we have some interview style questions and answers between Paul, Andy, and us on the panel. Thank you so much.
Wow. I don't know where to start with that. There's a lot going on there, and thanks for that very comprehensive presentation. So thank you very much indeed. I mean, lots of figures, lots of numbers. I have a couple of questions. We've got lots of questions on the Q&A. We've got lots of questions which we had prior to actually the webinar. Once we actually started taking registrations, people sent questions in, and I know we forwarded them to you, and I know that you've actually already formulated some answers to them. So perhaps we'll go through them in a moment. But I've just got a couple of questions I'd like to ask. And I think one of the staggering things that I didn't appreciate about TikTok is that how it is used as a search engine. And that to me that's really interesting, because the fact that it's like a sort of mini version of YouTube. So how do I build a wall? You can go to YouTube and you to some guy building a wall, but TikTok's just a very mobile short version of that. But people use it as a search engine, and that, so they want to find out about a particular destination. They put the destination in. How does the algorithm work though? Does it work on the hashtags, or how does the filtering work? That's what I don't understand.
I mean, great question. And to be super honest with you, if I knew how the algorithm worked, I wouldn't be in sales. I would be one of those tech geeks somewhere in Silicon Valley. But no, I think this is probably a huge topic of curiosity as well. It's made the news in the recent past about how TikTok is challenging Google in terms of search marketing, and it's true. It's in fact propelled and almost forced our product teams to come up with a solution for search marketing as well, which is in the works and should be released towards the later half of this year. I think what is emerging here as a theme for us in the company is the fact that people love short video consumptions. Let's get that straight. I would rather see somebody speak for 60 seconds and almost digest a lot of information to me in an entertaining format than probably see a 10-minute YouTube video or a review in landscape format to find out the same, or maybe read a blog about the same, which are all, of course, traditional ways how people have shared knowledge. But I just think that we are in a period of transition where the baby boomers are still learning about these new technologies, but the Gen Zs are already doing this in their day-to-day lives. And voice notes, videos have become almost a very natural substitute for expression in our communities. As much as all of us like to text and make sure the grammar in our emails is perfect, a lot of the people who are young these days prefer video as a platform. Short form video content consumption is their go-to way to find out more about the brands and the topics they love. And therefore, searching on TikTok is just a natural byproduct of that, because people now realize that it's very easy for them to just go and search a particular topic and find those answers.
I know that one of the questions that I know that you've lined up is the question of the length of videos, and I know that TikTok is defined as a short format video medium, and that question is how long is a short video? So is a short video 10 seconds, or is it is it sort of 20 minutes? And I don't know what a short. So I don't. Do we want to go into our? What do you think, Paul? Should we go straight into the questions? Because I think
let's go into the questions that we've already got. Maybe go through them relatively quickly, because we'd like to do a couple of the questions that have come in. They're pouring in at the moment. So maybe we could, Sophia and Barney can address the questions that we've already had before the call started.
You want to share your screen, Barney? Go through.
Yeah,
the questions.
absolutely. Just
Great.
doing that. Let me know when all is fine.
Good.
And then we'll just start with the same question that you mentioned, Andy. What is the best length of time for a video to attract the most interest from prospective customers? And in typical fashion, I'm going to say there is really no one size fits all on the platform. But what I can say is that more than the length of your video, it's the composition and the elements that make your video that are more important in finding your success. So a 15-second video can probably drive the same impact that maybe a 2-minute video can, only because that 15-second video is able to compress and almost answer everything or convey everything that a 2-minute video also can. So the best way to decide what length suits you, suits your brand on TikTok is probably doing some testing and learning, some tweaking on your organic profiles and pages. So start posting a lot more regularly, see what kind of videos are getting you better engagement, whether it's short form content or long form content that's giving you better visibility and engagement with your customers, and make those decisions in an informed fashion. For instance, some people, like, for example, specifically in dance, a lot of people like to see the whole video. So, you could have a dancing video that runs for 70 seconds and people may not blink their eyes. Whereas there could be a piece of news that is just 90 seconds long, but people already know about it, and therefore there's no new value add in those 90 seconds. There is no new fact that people end up discovering sometimes in these long form videos, which just ends up resulting in poor performance or poor view through metrics. So the best judge of how long a video needs to be is you and as a brand custodian, and the best way to figure that length out is through testing and learning on our paid and organic opportunities.
Okay.
Maybe I would love to add just a sprinkle of numbers over there from the performance advertisers perspective. At Shook, we deal only with the paid ads, and while doing paid advertisement, maybe the general best practice is to keep the videos quite short. We see up to 35 seconds. But we actually saw that the best results lies somewhere in between 20 to 30. But also adding on, that really depends on your goal, like where you are in your funnel. So for example, for some tactical advertisers, 15 to 20 seconds where you have the succinct, short, up to the point message where everyone understands that there is just one point you want to deliver across. 15 to 20 seconds would perform nicely. But for example, for the brand advertisement, for the awareness, brands can benefit from longer videos. For example, there was a recent example of a TikTok ad that was 10 minutes from Hilton, and it was a boom. People watched 10 minutes of TikTok, like what? But it really comes down to what Banu mentioned, because the main challenge is not the length of the video, but how do you make every single second of the video engaging, like hooking the viewers in and getting your message across while they're with you, while they are the most receptive.
Okay, thank you. Banu, let's go on to the next question.
Yep, absolutely. And I think this one's never going to go away. It's basically people still feel TikTok's only for Gen Zs and millennials. What about the baby boomer generation with the high purchasing spend? I mean, there's enough data to basically not spend too much time on this question, because we have 2/3 of our users who are 25 plus. We have roughly 25% global audience that is 35 and above in their age, which just goes to show that in a matter of few years, TikTok's gone from the dancing teenager platform to a platform for everybody. And we truly believe in that. That's how we are moving ahead day in, day out, and within the company as well. Everybody who works with us, from our creative partners like Shuk to all the creators, individual creators, to a lot of the measurement partners and the brand safety partners on our side, recognize this fact that TikTok's becoming a platform of choice across different age groups. We have many brands, premium category, luxury brands who specifically look for just the 35 plus age audiences. We have a lot of travel brands that want to work with the 45 plus age bucket. And a lot of these are live on the website, on the campaigns with the websites. It's really straightforward for me to believe that age gating is in the mind of the brand or the marketer. The platform's definitely there for everybody to come and experience and participate and be a part of the community.
Okay.
Super. Anything to add, Sophia? Or we go on to the next one?
Let's go to the next one. I think it's definitely the myth that should be busted, and I think Banu busted it entirely. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's very little we can do other than encouraging brands to see it for themselves. But their TikTok's definitely not just for Gen Zs and millennials. This one's an interesting question. It's not my favorite, but it's something I always address: music authorization on TikTok, because first of all, I'm glad that a lot of people recognize that music is a big part of TikTok. We are the only always sound on platform in today's day and world. We encourage almost any kind of viewing to be with sound on, because sound makes up a huge, sound influences the quality, overall quality of your video more than probably any other factor can. But when it comes to music authorizations, I think the guideline we always follow is that we have a very, very large commercial music library where we have over 500 million soundtracks for brands to use, which are free of any copyright issues. However, there are instances where brands are very keen to be innovative and original, and they want their own soundtracks. Or there are other cases where brands would like to collaborate or use a particular sound that is for which they do not have the rights to. In which case, we have a very strongly growing music team, global music team, and local regional experts who can sit down with your brand marketing team, understand the requirement, and suggest and steer you accordingly in the right direction. If the level of investment and the budgets that you have are encouraging of buying the rights to a particular soundtrack or building an original soundtrack, we'll be the first ones to do so, because that's all about inspiring creativity and joy, is how we look at it. But in a case where you're just excited about the prospect of using a particular sound, but the budgets do not justify that excitement, we'll be the first ones to guide you towards alternative options or similar soundtracks, or similar cases where other brands have found an interesting way. It could be humming the same tune, it could be reproducing the tune with a set of instruments in your garage, or it could just be finding that a cappella version of yourself that you were scared to do it. In all honesty, finding the right soundtrack is as important as owning it, and we will do everything to safeguard the brand first and then pursue any music interest or copyright interest, if that makes sense.
Cool.
Exactly. And I wanted to add maybe more on the trend side of things, because most trending sounds, when they are becoming popular, they're not commercially licensed or pre-cleared, which means you user will not be able to advertise with those songs unless you have a direct license. But we have been seeing that TikTok has been working a lot on this commercial music library. As Banu mentioned, there's a lot of songs available, and it's continue growing for commercial purposes, but it only can be used on the TikTok platform. But in terms of the trends, I would encourage advertisers specifically to search for visual trends, or for example, I'm sure many have seen a recent spinning globe travel trend. So this is something that you can visually utilize. It will be still relevant for the users. They will be accustomed to it, but the music would be commercially licensed.
Amazing. Last one that I have on my slides, and this is, I think, my favorite question so far. It's an area of a lot of excitement and focus for me as well, which is how can TikTok particularly work for tour operators who are trying to promote their programs to their consumers, and what is the most practical approach? And I love that last bit in this question, which says, what is the most practical approach? Because sometimes we get too involved in finding results that we don't really focus a lot and find out the right approach or the right tactics that can help us solve the given problem. Now, speaking of tour operators, I feel like there are two important things that I want to highlight here. The first one is that a lot of the tour operator business is dependent on conversions and final purchases. So it's not the case of a Marriott or a Hilton where they own their rooms or the product is owned by the company themselves. What tour operators are great at is helping travelers like me customize my travel package, is to find the best of both worlds by mixing my travel experiences, but at the same time personalizing it to suit my needs. So I could I could depend on a tour operator to basically make my travel in a particular city or a particular destination a lot more personalized. And I think that's exactly what needs to come out in their TikTok efforts as tour operators, that we are here to serve you. We are here to help you customize your travel and go that extra step that you may not expect somewhere else. So how I would like to tackle this situation is that it's very important for tour operators to utilize the data that they have already to understand where their conversions and what kind of audiences are already buying products for them historically, last year, the year before. Is there any seasonality that they can factor in? So depending on your internal data, to then decide what times of the year and what kind of content objectives you want to drive on TikTok can be an easy starting point, rather than trying to replicate the presence of a big travel brand on TikTok and just getting lost in that process without really communicating the main reason why consumers should flock their way to tour operators rather than the Expedias and the Booking.coms of the world. I think can be an excellent starting point. But more importantly, in terms of a practical approach, what I would like to say is that we encourage a high focus on return on advertising spend to be as high as possible. So working for any tour operator, I think it's very crucial to decide the levels of their marketing investments on platforms like TikTok and just other digital platforms and opportunities, and then work together with our dedicated teams to drive a more performance-focused content plan, which can drive conversions, which can get more people to make bookings or add or maybe just collect leads and use TikTok for a very strong lead generation platform opportunity to then nurture these leads outside with your call centers or other channels and other marketing skills, if that makes sense. Anything that you would like to add? Yeah.
Definitely would love to emphasize the fact that TikTok is creative first platform. And in terms of the practical approach, it is really important to understand that it's not as simple as just having your Instagram reels on TikTok. It is a completely different approach how people consume media. They consume it full sound on, very with the full attention. So it is highly important to produce creatives that are TikTok first. And what it means to produce the TikTok first creative, it means that what makes any good ad makes a good TikTok as well. So produce creatives that are sound on. TikTok is very big on the unpolished style. For example, comparing to Instagram, sometimes creatives there are more stylish, more staged, and very polished. But users demand authenticity, users demand first point of view. So then it becomes an interesting problem to solve, right? How would you design your production of TikToks or production TikTok creative in a cost-effective way, right? So for example, at Shook, we worked with Atut France to create production model for their destinations in a modular approach. So what it means that we source different creators in different destinations and produce videos in different pieces, and then mash pieces together to come up with not just one or two TikTok first videos, but to have a variety of those, to be testing, to be and actually seeing what performs best. So I would really encourage to look over your creative strategy and look over to your budgets, to not just invest to one long or like two long form videos, but rather 10 or 20 short form unpolished TikToks.
Fantastic. All right, we're running out of time. It's 5 to 10 here in London. Paul, do you want to say any words?
A couple of things. We will get back to all the questions if our panelists don't mind. That we'll write to our audience that posted the questions with some answers directly from the panelists afterwards. So for those that have asked the questions, they will be answered to you directly. Maybe one last question that seems to have been 3 times on there, guys. Very quick answer. YouTube, is that not a better way to communicate your tourism business? Question mark. A quick answer, guys. Maybe the difference between the two and what TikTok has to offer compared to YouTube.
I'll try my level best to keep this really, really short, because it's a huge point of passion for us to explain YouTube versus TikTok. But I think fundamentally, YouTube is a long form content platform. Very few times in my life have I seen 25 YouTubes in less than 10 minutes. It's just fundamentally not how YouTube is designed. And therefore, the algorithm behind YouTube is designed to show you videos that you're more likely to watch for 5 to 10 minutes. Whereas TikTok fundamentally is very different from how YouTube is designed. Not just the fact that TikTok's always been a full vertical 9:16 platform, but the fact, but also that YouTube is a more horizontal platform traditionally, which encourages people to speak to their audiences in a more descriptive fashion. Very, very few YouTube videos are going to have 25 filters and 23 transitions within a 30-second or a 60-second time frame. It's almost like saying, why can't I lose all my weight by just cross training? Why do I also have to do some kind of strength training? It's because the body needs both. And for you as a marketer, there are benefits to what YouTube can provide. There are benefits to what TikTok can provide. So trying to use just one for solving both the purposes is never a great idea. If you need younger audiences who are supremely engaged on their platforms, then TikTok's the place to be. Whereas if you need a more review style, long form, expressive platform, TikTok is still the place to be.
That's fantastic. No, I think that's clear, and I think if you look at the way TikTok works, then it's got a place and it does a thing, and YouTube has got a place and it does a thing, and the two are very different. It's like comparing apples with oranges. They're very, very two different things. It's 2 minutes to 10. I'd just like to wrap up because I think it's been fascinating. I've certainly learned a lot. I've written about 20 questions down on my book, which we don't have time to ask, particularly about searching, how you search, how you make yourself visible, have the use of hashtags, the use of geotagging, how you do all that sort of stuff. And we will be sending questions over to both of you. And if you could come back, we'll actually put it all up on our website, and people can actually look and refer along with the contact details of both our panelists today. I've found it absolutely fascinating, hugely entertaining, and very interesting indeed. So I just like really just to thank Bhavnu from TikTok, thank you very much, and also Sophia from Shook, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. It's been a great session, and I said we were putting the video on our website and on our YouTube. Thanks again to Ato behind the scenes, we're posting the webinar. Paul, thanks very much. Anything you want to add before we go? Are we done?
Just to thank you very much again, and we'll see you for future Tech Matters webinars in the future. And thanks again, guys. TikTok super interesting, and we'll be spreading the word to everybody afterwards. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks very much indeed.